And now turning to a disturbing trend across America. Republican officials taking extreme measures to get what they want. And by extreme, we don't just mean controversial. We mean straight up authoritarianism. As Brian Klaas puts it in The Atlantic, some red states have become laboratories of authoritarianism, experimenting with the autocratic playbook in ways that could fill up to the federal government. And let's zoom in on the conservative chaos that we're seeing in a handful of states. Just take Florida, for example. You've got Governor Ron DeSantis. He fired a Democratic prosecutor who vowed not to prosecute those who seek or provide abortions. In neighboring Georgia, state Republicans passed a bill that would create a commission to discipline and remove elected prosecutors who they don't believe are doing enough to fight crime. In Tennessee, we all witnessed Republicans' botched expulsion of 2 black Democrats from the state legislature for protesting alongside their constituents in favor of stricter gun laws. These officials are representatives of the people who voted them into power, and Republicans are doing everything they can to try and silence them. Both have since been reinstated in Georgia. In North Dakota, Governor Doug Burgum just signed into law one of the nation's strictest abortion bans, making abortion illegal in most instances unless it was caused by rape or incest in the first 6 weeks of pregnancy. That's earlier than most women even realize that they are pregnant. And here's the authoritarian twist. Republicans passed that abortion ban 1 month after North Dakota Supreme Court blocked a different abortion ban in the state. In effect, North Dakota Republicans are trying to go around the judicial system to get what they want. And this creeping right-wing authoritarianism has now taken over Montana. Republicans in that state have silenced State Representative Zooey Zephyr, the state's first transgender lawmaker, after she told her colleagues that they'd, quote, have blood on their hands for supporting a bill that would ban gender-affirming care. The GOP majority voted to bar Representative Zephyr from the House floor for the remainder of the legislative session, and then passed the bill she was fighting to stop. The governor of Montana has signed it into law. The right silenced someone who represents a community that has been repeatedly under attack. It has been marginalized by Republicans, someone who was attempting to defend and give a voice to the voiceless, precisely what we want from our representatives. In states across the country, Republicans are silencing anyone who dissents from their views, even if they are duly elected officials by other Americans. Some are even trying to go around the courts, and that is not supposed to happen in our democracy. And sadly, it seems that Republicans, they don't care if they abide by the rules of a democracy or not, so long as they get their way. Joining me now is Montana State Representative Zooey Zephyr. Representative Zephyr, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for making time for us tonight. I want to start by asking you personally how you're doing. How are you taking all of this in? We've seen you continue to be hard at work despite all of these measures that we've seen, but just tell us what you're going through and how you're dealing with it all.
You know, when you make a decision like I did, when you stand up for what is right, when you stand up for the first principles of our country, it's easy to keep your head held high. And so I left the building after the censure with my head held high. I came in the next day ready to work on behalf of the people who elected me. So I'm feeling good. And I feel in this moment that despite the cruelty of the legislature, despite the undemocratic or anti-democratic decisions that were made, I feel a glimpse of what our state could be when people stand up and fight for our first values.
When you said that lawmakers, would have blood on their hands for supporting gender-affirming care bans, you weren't exaggerating. I mean, numerous studies have shown how delaying this care can lead to increased risk of suicidal thoughts. You've talked about your personal conversations with families of trans teens who are struggling. What do you think it's going to take for Republicans to understand the dire damage they are inflicting on trans people?
So we know the statistics. We can tell the stories. I think there are 2 things that will shift the narrative. And one is, we see the growing frustration that people have with these policies. And those are in direct correlation with the number of people who know a trans person. We know when you know someone who is trans, when you see the joy that trans people have when we can come fully into ourselves, it makes that hate harder. It makes it harder to pass these kinds of laws. So that's step one. And step two, whatever think tanks are trying to pass these anti-trans laws, they'll see the results in the elections because Americans don't want to attack marginalized communities. That's not what we should be doing.
And you see, can correct me if I'm wrong, but you see a through line through all of these. I mean, you've talked about how the expulsions in Tennessee, your ban in Montana, other attempts to censure marginalized lawmakers, they're all one in the same effort. Expand on that.
Yeah, so we've seen, Tennessee, we've seen here, and I know in Montana what's happened to me. And when the censure process was happening here, the members of the Native American Caucus, the American Indian Caucus in Montana stood up, one of the first people to stand up for me and say, this through line, yeah, trans people are the target right now in this moment in our state, but that through line has a long history through America and its politics. And to me, what you're seeing is when marginalized communities stand up and hold people accountable to the real harm that legislation does. It's not enough for the right to have the votes to pass it. They want silence. They don't want to be held accountable. They want to use whatever tools are at their disposal to mandate that silence.
You've said that you were first inspired to run for office because of a string of anti-LGBTQ legislation. So your holding elected office was in effect a way to fight back on that front. How do you recalibrate that fight with this latest challenge?
So you always have to have hope that change can happen. And you know that you're moving 150 different needles in that legislature, just like every trans person, every ally who has a conversation around the importance and the impact of these bills moves the needle with the people that they talk to. And so to me, it's not so much of a recalibration as it is a fortification of the hope and the fire that was in me initially when I decided to run.
You had House Judiciary Committee Clerk Jamie Van Valkenburg quit her job on Friday to join your staff. You've also said that courage is contagious, and you just talked about that a little bit. Despite these setbacks that you've faced and the constant struggles your community has faced over the years, do you still see hope in the fight moving forward?
Absolutely. I see the hope, and I see it starting in our communities and taking root there. I went back to my community on Friday after the legislative session ended and walked straight into a rally, a Pride and Determination rally. And it was beautiful to see what happens when community comes together. And you began to see the way in which it feels like we're in a moment where change is possible, and change will happen if we at the community level dedicate ourselves to doing that work.
Montana State Representative Zooey Zephyr, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate your time and your insights.
Thank you for having me.